Well, hello everyone. I just wanted to do a quick trade recap on a pound dollar trade I took last week. Well, I've been in it for about a week or 10 days or so, something like that. But let me bring it up here so you guys can see it. Sitting about 200 pips on it. You can see my entry down here on May 16th or 17th. May 17th it looks like is when I went long on this. Had a nice move off of it initially, and then it came right back to my entry. Went a little red on me, but then we got that move up that I was looking for. So I just wanted to go into the trade analysis on that really quick. On the daily chart, just looking at most recent price action here, you can see we kind of have this a couple different ways you can draw this, or I have drawn it. Little channel thing going on here. You got something like that, but I could also kind of make a case for something like this. Either way, we're kind of inching our way up inside this channel. Coming off the lows here, we've put in a higher low and have since put in a higher high than this, and as it stands now, it seems like it may be putting in a higher low than this one. So, and you can kind of see the fanning or the, I don't want to call it parabolic because it hasn't gone parabolic yet, but it's just kind of, it seems like it's picking up momentum from the buy side, because it's getting steeper and steeper. If you were to kind of just connect your low points. So I had that kind of as a long bias. Once we broke down out of, let me find it here. We're putting in these corrective structures here, and depending on how you draw these, draw it like this here, kind of three touches there. There's that, and if you look at this kind of the impulsive move here that broke out, not that, let's see, like that. Kind of retested that right here. You can see it was respected on the underside here, broken, and then when you came back and retested it twice, it was respected. Nice impulsive move off of that. So it felt like that may have been kind of a catalyst to push this up a little bit. And then recently we had this little congestion phase here, which I was initially short biased on this, but doing some deeper analysis, we have yet to retest this trend line for 3 times, or a third touch of it, which doesn't necessarily mean anything, but I would like to see this retested for a 3rd time. And so I had that kind of as a magnet, in addition to this little trend line, the increasing upward momentum that seems to be stepping in here on the higher time frames. And fib wise and structure wise, I had a nice little level here that you can really see the impulsivity coming out of them. Here, large impulsive move, and then on the flip side here, large impulsive move to the downside. And that lined up with some nice confluence here. Let me take this off because I didn't have that initially. Congestion wise here, I forgot to continue on to this thought here. We consolidated for quite a while, broke to the upside, and immediately dumped the very next day after that breakout. So what I could have potentially seen happening here was a breakout, triggering longs. Many retail traders have their stops below these breakout candles, or if they're conservative, below the range that was established. So you can see this range here. So either way, people who went long here are stopped out. I mean, if they're super conservative and are looking for really high targets, their stops were down here, which that's several hundred pips. I mean, there's probably traders that do that, but the majority of stops were probably taken out here and here, right? So, and then you see the reaction off of this 50% fib retracement and this level that I had marked off here. 3 days of bulls, 1 day of bears, 2 days of bulls, 1 day of bears. So once I saw this initial reaction, I felt like this was just kind of a bullish trap, taking their stops at these locations, and then the true move was going to continue to the upside. So I went long on this candle here once I saw this initial reaction off the 50% retracement, and after that it gave me a little bit more confluence. I went ahead and drew this little, wick to wick, looking for that third touch back down around that confluence. So we have that 50% retracement there, and if we take the bullish move coming out, we got that 78.6 fib retracement for the lower time frames. I'm sorry if my stuff disappears here. Sometimes when I switch time frames on this FX Trade Advanced Charting system, it takes off my stuff. So nice confluence here. Yeah, my zone disappeared, but essentially that zone was, in here. So I went long at long, kind of a down here around that test of confluence I had marked up at 66.2, and I only had a 50 pip stop on this, and the reason being was what I mentioned with this consolidation breakout triggering longs and then slapping their stops, and then additionally that move out of the 50% is what I saw. I felt like if this was going to break, which it kind of broke, this may have not been super established. You got your kind of initiation point, and I felt like this move up was enough of a move to kind of use this as an establishment point for a trend line, and it worked. I mean, it held. I had some that confluence there, but was looking for a retest of these highs here, so I didn't really mess with my stops, and you can see, but essentially after I entered, we had a nice move back up to that range, and kind of started putting in this squeeze, depending on how you draw it like that, and draw it like this. So you got this kind of squeeze within a squeeze, right? So you can see the larger squeeze, and what I mean by squeeze is price was just kind of consolidating in a fashion where it creates lower highs and higher lows, and essentially that's just an accumulation phase, or a phase in the market when orders are just being absorbed or accumulated for an impulsive move. And like I mentioned before, after I saw this kind of breakout and then fake out to both sides essentially, I was looking long for those higher term targets that I had marked up here that I don't know where it went, but maybe on the daily chart it'll show back up. Yeah. So that trend line there, there's a couple of profit targets up there. Now, whether or not it's going to, so let's look at this real quick. So we have a perfect 78.6 retracement straight up to its profit target there. So to me, this is just kind of profit taking, and we're going to start the next move up. But that puts us up around $1.34, and that's a long ways away. It's going to have to break this major trend line here. So what I'm likely to do is take profit before then, because this is such a major trend line here. I can't imagine there's not going to be some type of bearish presence in and around there. You know, it may peak up a little bit, maybe double top here or something, and then come down. But I really think that, you know, there's going to be some type of presence of either more profit taking or, you know, some type of bearish presence coming in and around that trend line if we can push up there. So I'm going to be taking profit before them, but what I will be waiting for is, you know, maybe some type of break and then find my entry on the other side after the break, if it breaks, and look to maybe fill this channel to the top. Maybe we kind of do another consolidation and then, you know, push up once more. And then, you know, from there, you got to entertain the fact that this may be just some kind of corrective phase, and we look setting up for another impulsive move. You can see these impulsive moves come after a high, typically, on a, you know, shorter term correction. So we could be shaping up for one of those. Or what I also see is maybe just, please don't delete all my stuff. I really am not a huge fan of this charting system, but I'm on my laptop and it's the only one I really have available right now. Could be doing some kind of range thing going on here. You can see this dollar, what is that, $1.20-ish area held pretty nicely a couple times once it was initially broken. So yeah, I don't know, maybe break, retest, shoot up to the range high or the previous highs. That would be nice to try and jump on that. But you know, these are all things that you kind of have to just play by ear and just plan for, and it's kind of a mixture of just not just letting your ego take over and not playing both sides, I guess is what I'm saying. I mean, you have to entertain both facts. Like I said, this seems like some type of correction or an impulsive move down. But, you know, this also could be setting up for like a break and then run back up, you know, and start establishing some type of higher term or higher time frame range, you know. So fundamentally, things are going to have to come together one way or another to create an impulsive move like this, fundamentally and technically. And I don't really pay attention to fundamentals, so I wouldn't be able to tell you what that is, other than maybe like some type of interest rate decision or, you know, some kind of global issue, crisis. I don't know. I don't pay attention to fundamentals pretty much whatsoever. So I hope this helped. You know, like I said, this was about a 200 pip trade for me as of right now. I'm risk free. I'm likely going to take some profit and maybe just take the whole thing off, just because we're at a, you know, a pretty kind of important area here. If you look at, you know, the higher time frame structure here, another area that has, you know, had impulsive moves off of it here. We're essentially testing that right now. So I hope this helped. If you like these videos, be sure to like them and subscribe, share them, whatever you feel necessary. And I hope you have a great week. Take care.